Hello and welcome to the Cinesnobs here on Blaze Radio and BlazeRadioOnline.com. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm your host Ryan Brown, followed by our very special guest, Kyle Hebert. How you doing, good sir?
Doing excellent, excellent. Thanks for having me.
He is the voice of Son Gohan from Dragon Ball. What is it? Escanor from Seven Deadly Sins, and then Fatgum from My Hero Academia. So I'm just going to ask you a couple quick questions that you can go back to enjoying the rest of the con. How does that sound?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Love to hear that. So as Gohan, I kind of really want to feel like how you get into kind of like going Super Saiyan Beast mode. Like how does you get into that mindset of just going deep into your diaphragm and just roaring?
I mean, actually, from within me, it's all about being the fan first. I started as a fan in the 90s, so just putting myself in that mindset and just ripping loose, you know. I've been able to make a career out of doing the power-up yells and everything, and I tell people Dragon Ball Z is like boot camp for today's first-person shooters and fighting games and all that, and I've had a real blessing to be able to work in all those genres of games and shows and everything, and you just got to lock in, you know what I mean, and get in there. And I've learned through the years that you can do some life hacks to help preserve your vocal cords, like Chinese cough syrup. That stuff is really good. Coat your vocal cords, protects them. It's all natural. It tastes good, and you don't sound like you've gargled razor blades at the end of the session.
That's amazing. What was your favorite moment to film as Gohan? Like from Tournament of Power to Dragon Ball Superhero?
Definitely Superhero. The Beast transformation is iconic and well-deserved. Poor guy's been nerfed for decades, but I also love the Otherworld tournament when he basically goes Super Saiyan 2 there and just like freaks everyone out. I love that moment. His eyes roll back in his head, and I got to do that scene again when we dubbed Dragon Ball Z Kai years later, and I could still do the scream. Like, I'm older, but yeah, I got this still. So yeah, those were great moments, and of course I love the iconic, fight you? No, I want to kill you.
That's honestly amazing. Switching over to My Hero Academia for Fatgum. He's kind of like what's a good word for it? I know he's a pro hero, but he kind of just feels like more of a little side character. What do you feel as for Fatgum could bring him more into the limelight, especially with the last season coming up soon?
I wish he was like a teacher, someone a little more in the forefront, because he is so lovable and he's got a great character design, a great personality. Everyone loves him. I have met countless fans at the cons for years who really love this character, and I love him too. I wish he had more screen time, you know, and I treasure any moment, an opportunity I have, especially as we move into the final season.
I know. I mean, for me personally, Fatgum feels like such a fun character. Like he has such an interesting power as well. Continuing off of that, I remember the specific scene where he was holding Red Riot in what was it, the Hisekai like kind of season where they were. Yeah. What do you kind of feel like Kirishima's like? What's a good word for it? Kirishima's kind of like relationship with Fatgum is, because it kind of seems a lot more than mentor and mentee.
Well, you know, I guess something a little more deeply rooted in a sense of family almost. You know, that sense of protectiveness and being there for each other and everything. You know, it's something. It's a special bond. You know, and it's really cool to see that blossoming on the show.
I know. It honestly is really cool. Going over to your other most popular anime, Seven Deadly Sins as Escanor. How do you kind of, again, like just like Gohan, how do you get into that role of just being pride and like powerful as the sun?
Well, I mean, for me, it's a matter of the pitch. Like, I play the nighttime version as well, and he's a higher pitch during nighttime because he's weak, but the sun powers him, so he's like very, very strong. And my instinct is to go deeper and everything. And that was a character I didn't audition for. I was actually just kind of cold cast. They said, "Hey, Kyle, we got a role we think you'll like," and like, to go on, yes. And yeah, it was an absolute blast to get to go from extremes. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared, to who decided that?
That's honestly so cool because you kind of just switch from both sides. And it honestly is amazing. It reminds me a lot of Superman, kind of how the sun powers him up and he's just strong and everything. So it's really cool. And then finally, I know you did Ryu in Street Fighter, but which one was it? Was it Street Fighter 6?
I go back to Street Fighter 4. We recorded in 2007. It dropped in 2008. That was the first time that Street Fighter has had an English dub for the games.
That's honestly super cool. And finally, for anybody who's aspiring to be a voice actor like yourself, do you have any words of wisdom or anything to give to anybody?
Yeah, so I think it's really more about becoming a good actor. It's not about doing voices or impressions. You really got to hone your skills because voice acting is just another form of acting. The best way to find out if you've got what it takes, the skills to bring your A game to the table, you got to take the acting classes. There's a lot of great voiceover coaches that teach over Zoom nowadays. Google is your friend. And speaking of internet stuff, there's a great website full of advice called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Please check that out, bookmark it, and you can learn about the journey of committing yourself to this fascinating career that can be very rewarding, but you got to put in the time and the effort and take the good with the bad, which is a lot of auditioning and not getting hired. But man, boy, does it feel awesome when you do get hired.
Well, Kyle, thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.